This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell, and joining me in the studio today are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar. We also have the TSO's music director, Elaine Trudell, and we have a very special guest on the phone. That would be... Wait for it now.
That's me.
That is AJ Lambert. Welcome, AJ.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
What were you saying while I was playing your fanfare? I heard you exclaim a couple of things. Do I need to pull out the... No? Yes?
That's exactly what I said.
Very nice. Well, AJ is coming to the Peristyle. You are performing with the Toledo Symphony. AJ Lambert is, if you don't know by now, she's the daughter of Nancy Sinatra and the granddaughter of Frank Sinatra. And this concert that's happening at the Peristyle is called Only the Lonely, a tribute to Frank Sinatra. You're going to be recreating that classic album of your grandfather's. This is happening Saturday evening, February 26th, 8 o'clock p.m. You can find more information at toledosymphony.com or just call up the box office, 419-246-8000. So, AJ, what I usually do is ask people to tell their story, right? I mean, I'm sure you've talked about your childhood and your formative years many times, but I wonder if you could just go back to when you bloomed as a singer of this particular program and other programs that you've done, when you decided to pick up the mic and go in front of an audience. And
okay.
Let me pull up some music for you. It's never what I expect. Like, that sounds a little more like Get Smart or something, right?
Just pretend you're Agent 99.
Yeah, okay. Agent 99, take it away. That would be you, AJ. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So I've been doing music for a long time. I'm 47, and I for a while was a bass player in other people's bands. I don't come actually from a pop sort of background. I come from more of a rock and roll and indie kind of background. So I started playing as a bass player, an occasional singer. And then I guess about 6 years ago, I decided that after I had my child and I had taken some time away from music for a while, I decided I'd like to get back into it. And the way I decided to do that was I found somebody who was a great pianist, and I basically put together a show of cabaret type of things with a focus on just good songs. It didn't really matter what they came from. It was, everything from, a David Bowie song to a Cole Porter song to could have been really anything, as long as they worked as a solo piano and vocal arrangement. So I started doing that at a local place out here pretty much every month. And it went really well. It was kind of loosely based on a radio show that I used to have on Sirius, which was a similar idea, basically how I could draw parallels between classic kind of Frank songs that I liked and more modern music that I liked. So it was kind of a continuation of that idea. And then my uncle passed away. My uncle Frank Sinatra Jr. passed away. And, there was talk of he would have been about to embark on a sort of almost like a greatest hits tribute kind of show tour about, my grandfather's music. And they said, what about you doing it? And because no one else is going to be doing this music anymore. And I said, that doesn't sound like me at all. Like I wouldn't sing, my way very well, and I wouldn't sing like New York. Like it just doesn't go with my style and being a small lady, and it just doesn't make sense. And it seemed kind of cynical to me to sort of trot that out. So I decided that I would love to sort of carry it on, but in a way that made sense for me as a singer and as a person. So I gravitated towards the sort of torch songy albums, and I started doing them as an entire album show, beginning with In the Wee Small Hours. So I did that one sort of start to finish with a pianist, and then I started doing Only the Lonely start to finish it with a pianist only. So that's sort of where I got up to, where I've still been doing my own music on my own with different bands and stuff that is not sort of standards and pops at all. But at the same time, I continue to do these shows. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get a call or an email from the Toledo Symphony asking me if I want to do it with an orchestra in the original arrangements. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So that's where we are. Yeah, that's how it got started.
Nice. Yeah, give you a little cheer.
Following me around everywhere I went.
Well, Zach here is an aficionado of Frank Sinatra, and I'm sure that he has followed your career somewhat as well. Zach, let's hear your side of the story as far as bringing AJ to Toledo.
Well, first of all, I mean, I've been a Sinatra fan since I was a little baby. AJ, I'm a couple of years younger than you, but my parents raised me to appreciate your grandfather's music with great sincerity. So I was talking to a colleague of mine who was part of our team a couple of years ago, and I was telling a funny story. I got my name from a John Denver song, which was A Baby Just Like You, which he sings Merry Christmas, Little Zachary. And your grandfather, or maybe you had to call him your grand chairman or something like that.
No, okay, first buzz of the day goes to Zach.
But he recorded a cover of that song, and he referred to Merry Christmas, Little Angela. And I don't know if that's you, but that is you, okay. And I said to my colleague, who is Angela? And his hypothesis was that it was you. And he said,
me.
In fact, she's singing some Sinatra torch songs. And I said, really? And that's how this whole concept started. So we're just really excited about it. And I think you've chosen a great album. Only the Lonely is one of my favorites. You think about the set list on that album, and it really is a tour of the great torch songs or saloon songs, whatever you want to call them.
It's a real knee slapper of a show.
Yeah. Well, we Small Hours, you could say the same thing. You have beautiful songs. I always would go to Frank's music if I was having a great point in my life. There were certain albums I would turn to if I was going through a breakup. I would go to other albums, and fortunately, there's a lot of depth here.
AJ, you have talked about the interpretation of song as being like something you share in common with your grandfather. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that and about your selection of these particular concept albums that you've recreated in these concerts.
Well, yeah. So I think that it boils down to, for me, if I can make it as basic as possible, if I feel like I can sing it and I can bring something of myself to it, then I go for that. Like I was saying, I don't do anything like Chicago or that kind of stuff, because it doesn't appeal to me and I don't like it very much, and so that makes it not fun to sing. So pretty much anything that I feel like I can lend something meaningful to would be the things that I would do.
I've taken the time to watch some of your videos and your like video recreations, music videos. Those are fascinating, I have to say. I mean,
my music videos that I directed or performance videos?
Well, I guess they're music videos because they're wild and interesting and kind of psychologically challenging. All of the above.
I love making music videos as well. I direct pretty much all my own music videos. I've done a couple that were done with other directors, but only 2 of them. One of which was this amazing horror movie director named Lucky McKee, who I went to film school with. And he directed the video for I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good, which I'm really, really proud of.
Yeah. Well, I do have a Frank Sinatra quiz. I hope that's okay. It's a 101 quiz, so these are all easy questions. These are now, AJ, I may ask you to, give the others a chance first. We'll see how they do.
I'm worried about me.
Let me pull up some music here. Okay. Question number 1. What year was Frank Sinatra born? Was it 1915, 1921, or 1912?
All right, so I'm going to give them a chance first.
Yeah. 1915.
1915.
Correct.
That's right, yes. Yeah. So basically, AJ, you can just sit there and say correct or not correct. Right?
I know.
Okay. Frank Sinatra was born in New Jersey, we know that, but what city was he born in? Was it Hackensack, Atlantic City, or Hoboken? A, B, or C?
That'd be C, Hoboken.
Yeah. Is that correct, AJ?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Which of the following was not a nickname for Frank Sinatra? Was it the Hoboken Fog? Was it Swoonatra? Or was it The Voice? A, B, or C?
Gosh, I want to say A.
Oh, no, that's right.
AJ, I told you he reserves that button just for me.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't say buzzer on it. It says Zach, actually, on the front. But, okay.
Great. Thank you.
Who was Frank Sinatra named after? Was it his grandfather, his godfather, or Benjamin Franklin?
Now, I have no idea the answer to this one.
Well, take a guess. A, B, or C?
Let's say B.
Yeah. His godfather.
Alan, you're on the board.
I'm on the board.
Yes.
I'm not the chairman, but I'm on the board.
It was Frank Garrick, who was a good friend of Frank Sinatra's father, Marty Sinatra. Okay.
Of course.
Now, here's an extra credit. What cartoon was partly inspired by Frank Sinatra? Was it Scooby-Doo, was it Speed Buggy, or was it Captain Caveman? A, B, or C?
AJ, I'm going to pass this one to you.
I actually, wait, what are the choices?
Scooby-Doo, Speed Buggy, or Captain Caveman?
Who's Speed Buggy?
I don't know.
Speed Buggy.
Speed
That
Buggy.
was a cartoon.
Speed Buggy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it about a singer?
No. It's about a speed buggy.
Like a race car.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
That's not it.
That's
we can
not it.
eliminate that right now.
Well,
So
I know the other two.
Scooby-Doo or Captain Caveman?
Caveman, whoever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Captain Caveman.
Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo. And the point is, he didn't inspire the cartoon as much as he inspired the name of the dog, because he would say Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Okay.
And the producer of the show had that in his head when he was trying to come up with a name for the dog, and he thought, Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's even
Yeah.
in the song, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have thought of that.
AJ, it's great. You learned something from my quiz. I feel so good about that.
That's usually the only thing I get to do, yeah.
Yes. And Zach won the quiz, but we won't talk about that.
I thought it was
Anyway.
Merwin.
Yeah,
Yeah, Merwin, who is not here, usually wins the quiz. Sometimes he wins when he's not here, but not today. So we're talking with AJ Lambert, who is the granddaughter of Frank Sinatra. She's coming to the Peristyle Saturday evening, February 26th at 8 o'clock p.m. for a concert entitled Only the Lonely, a tribute to Frank Sinatra. More information at ToledoSymphony.com or 419-246-8000.
I just wanted to add one real quick thing about that. The title of the show is maybe a little bit misleading. It is just so everybody's aware. It's the album.
That's right.
In its entirety. So we get to do it with the original Nelson Riddle arrangements, which were very generously provided to us by Seth MacFarlane, who owns them now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's interesting. And we're going to add a special sort of bonus song to it as well.
Yeah. Do you guys know about that? Elaine, you know about the bonus song?
Well, I'm not at liberty to disclose this right now.
You can either confirm or deny.
Talk about it. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work.
I have my finger on this button just in case.
Well, I have something to say.
Okay, Elaine is going to speak. Elaine is with us.
Hello, AJ. So what's interesting, because this is they're all very personal perspective songs like this, you know. And I'm taking an example, for example, about What's New, okay? If you take the interpretation of, you know, a man's version of it from a certain period of time at the end of the 50s, and a woman's interpretation of it, or just the you know, you can go like Sinatra, yes, you can go Helen Merrill, you can. It's there's a perspective that everybody brings to, especially this album, because there's a lot of loss around this album, right? There's a lot of heart broken around this album and loss. And for me, like when you sing this album, I mean, the tunes on this album, I mean, it's very personal. I'm just wondering what goes through you, what you know, what's not details. It's for you to keep, but
I mean,
you know,
per song, it's pretty different. As you know, they're definitely all very, very emotional.
Yeah.
You know, for me, a lot of the reason that it does resonate with me is because of loss. I've had, you know, my share, and you know, but I didn't feel like I had the sort of, I don't know, chops and maturity, I guess, to sing any of that stuff until pretty recently. But yeah, I mean, those between the lyrics, I mean, obviously, but also a lot of that melody in those songs, for me, really kind of brings out what they mean to me, because, you know, it's just a perfect marriage of both of those things, trying to elicit, you know, a feeling out of a singer. And it's not that difficult, honestly, when you've got such beautiful music and also the lyrics. I mean, I do have my moments where I definitely feel like I'm responsible in a way for making sure that it's cared for properly. I don't know how to explain that, but, you know, a lot of people assume that they're going to see kind of a Frank Sinatra tribute act, and it's, unfortunately or not, it's not quite that.
I think it's fortunate, actually. I mean, he was of course iconic. Okay. Of course he was iconic, but you know, he was also a man in the 50s. And there's some songs in there. I mean, but you know, like when you sing Goodbye, when you sing I Come Back to What's New, and Willow Weep, for me, that like my mother was a cabaret singer and a jazz singer, so she would sing. She would sing a lot of this stuff for me when I was a kid, and I always thought, like, because I listened to the album a lot, that the arrangements, they talk a lot. It's like the arrangement are like a character in the song, you know, and you can decide how detached or not detached you're going to be from the text that you're saying, right? That's
exactly right. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it hurts so much inside, I won't show it to you outside. That's what I hear when he sings it, you know?
That's exactly right. And for me, it's almost the opposite.
Yeah, no, but it's well, that's
me,
why an interpretation there's different. That's why I'm excited to hear your interpretations of it, because we're in another era. Those arrangements are timeless, but we live in another time, and it's okay to express a little bit more how we feel.
Yeah, because what's amazing about it is, like, you can take someone who's such a strong character as Frank Sinatra and, like, assume that that's the reading of the song, right?
Yeah.
But then you can have someone like me who reads it quite differently. At least some of it. Some of it I do read kind of similarly. But a lot of it, is definitely from the perspective of a 47-year-old woman, for sure.
And I think that's amazing. That's exactly, for me, what excites me about this project. Of course, it's iconic as the songs that he did and all that, but it's like in the classics, when the classical, like the symphonies. I mean, when you play Beethoven symphony, is it different, when you're in the 21st century performing it, than if you're performing them in 1950 or 19 or 18, whatever. We weren't there, but it's the material lives, the works live, and those arrangements underline the story, but the person the protagonist who tells the story. That's what really interests me, and that's why I'm really excited about doing this with you.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Me too. I'm very excited about that part of it, and having a group of musicians and a conductor who can bring those things out of the material is so exciting to me. Because these things, well, first of all, they hardly ever get played.
Yeah, true.
These arrangements particularly are pretty rare to hear outside of the record. So I'm so excited about that part of it. And I'm just, it's exciting that, the songs are written in such a way that this is even possible, that someone so many years later and not a man in the 50s, can sing these without them being, anything other than earnest and honest. It's incredible. It really is. It's just all a tribute to the songwriting, which is what I, was hoping to do originally with my other show, where I was interpreting all kinds of different music. As long as it's well written and you can get across something, if you're a 47-year-old woman or you're David Bowie, like, if you can communicate that, then the song, to me, that means the song is great. So this is very exciting to me.
It sounds like you're doing the dishes or something over there.
I'm so sorry. You've got to understand, I'm a mom trying to get the kids to school on top of all of this.
Oh my gosh, I completely feel that. So AJ, I love what you were just saying, because I think what you've communicated, you and Alain just did a wonderful job articulating this, is that something from 1958 can feel so modern. We don't have a lot of things that can do that. But music has this great lens that constantly is refreshed. And 40 years from now, we might be doing a tribute to David Bowie and saying, wow, his thing from the 1970s sounds so modern, right?
But
God, I hope so.
Yeah, right? We should be so lucky.
Will you call me when you do that?
Absolutely.
This is the definition of a classic.
Yeah.
When you said this is a classic, what we just said is that, if you ever wonder, you're listening at home and you're going like, when we say, oh, this is a classic, it's not because the person is well known. It's because it doesn't age. It ages well. It just keeps getting better as you listen to it.
It really does.
That's right. And these songs, to me, as compared to things like Chicago or those kinds of songs, those ring-a-ding-ding kind of things, those are very untimeless to me.
As opposed to the Scooby-Doo things.
Scooby-Doo songs, yeah. And I'm having a really interesting thing where my daughter is finding movies of his that are just so terrible.
She's there in the room with you. Be careful.
Seriously, like there's so much of it that is not me at all. Like, and yet there's these very specific things are very much me, and they also are a way for me to feel connected to him, because that's the person who I relate to the most, is the one who is, you know, having trouble being a person. You know, that's someone who I really relate to. I don't relate to the swagger. I don't relate to the overconfidence and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't relate to me at all.
That was a dangerous album for him, because you almost could, there's a crack you could see inside, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that to me brings me back to, you know, the super early things, which is my absolute favorite music of his, is like when he's really, really young and just starting out, where it's like, it's a pure, you know, beautiful, sorry.
Pied Pipers and the
pure, beautiful tone that hasn't found its like supreme swagger and confidence yet. And to me, that's more interesting to me.
I think what you were talking about a little bit earlier is what I was sensing in watching those music videos of yours, because it's familiar music, but you make it so unique and personal, you know, to you, that and it's so successful as well, the way you're able to mold your own emotions and life experience onto this music. It's really, really quite admirable, I think.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
We should let everybody know. Yeah.
Yeah. AJ, I would love to go back to the arrangements, because you know, I remember becoming fascinated as a probably the only kid in my third grade class who knew who Nelson Riddle and Gordon Jenkins were. But I remember the day that the scores arrived, the parts arrived in our library. Our librarian told me, and I went downstairs, and you know, just looking through these, every single one has Nelson Riddle's name in the bottom, and they're all handwritten. You know, it's absolutely music from another time. Now they'd all be in a computer printout, and you know, very different. But tell me a little bit about why these arrangements are meaningful to you, because that's one of the most exciting things about this concert, is that we're putting you and the arrangements together.
That's exactly it. I mean, I grew up with these. Not these songs, because he didn't perform a lot of these that often, except for, of course, One for My Baby. Yeah. That one, obviously, he played all the time. But a lot of these other ones, he didn't do that often. So but at the same time, I was always brought up to be reverent, you know, of Nelson Riddle and the arrangements, and how we just, in my family, they've always been almost like sacred texts. Yeah. Because they're so unique, and they make the whole experience what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like the listening to that record, all the records that have his arrangements are so imprinted with the time and the person and the relationship, and just it's like I said, it's almost like a sacred feeling for me and my family. Yeah. For example, like when we you can just cut that out. When we
what's for breakfast?
When we embarked on getting, you know, these things together, it's very, when my uncle used to perform them, they had to send them with like its own security guard type of thing. Yeah, when they used to sort of let him out of their sight, it was a very, very, very big deal. Like someone had to be with them all the time. The actual paper itself, you know. You know, it's a little bit different now, because I think I'm assuming they've copied them.
They are not the originals. So no bouncer needs to come to the Toledo Symphony Library, right?
Have an armed guard standing outside the door.
I'm assuming, I would assume he wouldn't do that. But you know, it's very, very, very meaningful for me, because it's almost like I'm getting. It's just a privilege, really. I mean, I've been singing them for a very long time now, for many years, but it's just a whole different thing when it's sort of steeped in the meaning that goes with the relationship that those two men had, and then my relationship to the one man, and it's really moving for me. It really is. I'm quite I'm not nervous about it because I love performing, but I am quite humbled by it because it's very moving for me.
Yeah.
So,
That's wonderful. Bring in some applause for that. AJ Lambert talking about her appearance with the Toledo Symphony. It's happening Saturday evening, February 26th, 8 o'clock p.m. She'll be recreating the classic album Only the Lonely in tribute to her grandfather, Frank Sinatra. More information at toledosymphony.com or 419-246-8000.
Can I go back to something that I think is really fascinating? What does Seth MacFarlane have to do with this?
Maybe it's the Scooby-Doo thing? I don't know.
One more beeping here. Hang on one second.
I wish I had a little microwave oven sound effect on here.
We will now. Yeah. And while you're working the microwave, I'll simply say, for those who don't know, Seth MacFarlane, he's a producer of TV shows, known for creating The Family Guy. He's hosted awards shows. Also, is a pretty notable crooner.
Yeah. And he's a big band enthusiast.
Yeah.
I heard him sing in Carnegie Hall with like a 70-piece orchestra, and they recreated Family Guy on the stage with all the actors. But he was great. Yeah.
Really?
It's the most people I've seen at Carnegie Hall ever.
There you go.
Womp womp. Yeah.
He was pretty good friends with my uncle, Frank Sinatra Jr., because he had been on Family Guy several times. He was on the show as himself, like, I want to say at least twice. So they were sort of friends, and he, decided that he had the money to spend on those things, so that's what happened.
So
and I think also we knew that was someone who was going to be reverent about it and take care of it, and not sort of exploit it. You know what I mean? Because he's like you said, he's such a fan in a very deep way that I think everybody was kind of like, yeah, this makes sense. This is someone who's going to be a good sort of steward of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get enjoyment out of it. That's the other thing that's super important, is that he actually uses them.
Yeah.
He plays with them, and I heard that he might be making a record with some of them. So
interesting.
I think we're really just in a good position with him being sort of a caretaker of that stuff.
You should invite him to the concert. We'll give him a couple tickets. He can be incognito. We'll call him Bob Jones, and he can see how to do this.
Yeah, right. Because I'm sure he has no idea.
Our styles are quite different. But he's very, very he's got such amazing respect and reverence for what these things are, and I just think he's great.
So he purchased the arrangements, like the original manuscripts, yeah?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And they were, there's a lot of them. I mean, it's not just this record.
Yeah. It's
everything.
Wow.
And going back to the swagger and the man in the 1950s, he could he could be the one to do Chicago or the Ring a Ding Ding songs, right?
Absolutely. He's that guy.
Yeah, but I do have to compliment you, AJ, on knowing that that's not what you want to do. And I
picture it, and it would just be the most ridiculous.
Now I want to see it.
When you see me and you hear me, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I want to hear you sing My Way. Are you going to ask for encores at the concert?
You're asking if she would sing like you when you say my way, right?
I don't know about
okay,
that, but yeah.
Oh, I need to study up on that.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time on this.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate this very much. I'm glad. I'm so excited.
And I know how much you've been probably planning to make your Toledo debut, so we're just happy that you're doing it with us.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Very excited.
Let me finish up here with the second half of my quiz.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, but wait, there's more.
It's getting to the denouement.
Okay. I do have a few more questions here on my Frank Sinatra quiz, which, again, AJ, you are sequestered from answering.
Got it.
Let me pull up just a little music. Okay. What was Frank Sinatra's mother's nickname? Was it Mama? Was it Dolly? Or was it Nat Nat? A, B, or C?
Pass.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah, twice.
Of course.
Well, of course.
All right, AJ, this is where you say you are correct.
You are correct.
Okay, it was Dolly. Yeah. Her real name was Natalie. Of course. That's how I came up with Nat Nat, which is a terrible nickname. Okay. So what was the last album that Sinatra actually recorded himself? Was it Old Blue Eyes Is Back? Was it Duets 2? Or was it Sinatra at the Sands?
Duets 2.
A, B, or C? Yep, Zach got it. Duets 2. 1994 came out.
94.
Old Blue Eyes Is Back was 73.
Yeah, that's a great
Sinatra
album.
at the Sands was 66.
Old Blue Eyes Is Back has this song about there used to be a ballpark. Nobody knows this song. AJ probably is the only one who knows this song.
I know this song.
But it's one of my favorites, and it's not the greatest hit on that album, but it's one of the most sincere ones on that album.
Is that your final
I
answer?
met the writer of that song.
Oh, you did?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a conversation we'll have off air.
To be continued.
Yeah.
How old was Frank Sinatra when he passed? Was he 79? Was he 90? Or was he 82? A, B, or C?
82.
Yeah.
82.
You guys all know that. Died in 1998.
Are we applauding that?
No, I'm applauding you guys.
Okay.
I'm
Just want to make
applauding
sure.
that.
It doesn't feel very right.
Here, let me find something appropriate.
That's the Dr. Evil theme. Okay, this isn't working.
No, I can't use that anymore after you said that.
Maybe she could be the mini-me.
What was the last movie Frank Sinatra appeared in? Was it Smokey and the Bandit 2? Was it Cannonball Run 2? Was it Airplane 2, the sequel? Or was it Austin Powers? No.
We should ask AJ's daughter, yeah?
Yeah.
I would have loved it if he was in Airplane 2.
Yeah.
So was it Cannonball Run 2? Or Smokey and the Bandit 2?
Smokey 2.
Yeah. No, that's wrong.
Oh, darn it. It's a coin flip.
Cannonball Run 2. All right, I'm giving that to Merwin.
I was just
even though
about
he's
to
not
say.
here.
You were just about to say.
Okay,
Conductors
Cannonball
are
Run
always
2.
right, yeah.
In 1984. All right, in which of these films did Frank Sinatra not appear as himself in a cameo role? Was it Pepe, which is a movie that starred Cantinflas, or was it That's Entertainment, or was it Who Framed Roger Rabbit? A, B, or C? Which did he not appear in cameo as himself?
Is this an all of the above sort of thing?
No.
Oh, darn it.
Nope.
Did he not appear? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah, it's
he was
like-
in it, but he wasn't himself.
He was
Yeah.
but he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
In
Yeah.
two of these films, he appeared as a version of himself. In one film, he did not appear as a version of himself, and that's the one we're looking for.
Okay, A.
So Pepe, That's Entertainment, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit? You say A.
Yeah, I'm saying A.
That is wrong.
Oh.
I guess it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
I don't remember. I'm on this as well. I have to go watch the movie.
He played the singing sword. He was in that movie.
Oh,
His voice was.
That's right. The
yeah,
singing
sure.
sword.
Okay.
Well done. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, extra credit
Yeah,
question.
but it was an animated role. I just want to point out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another cartoon inspired by the late great. Yes, I don't want to say chairman of the board because he evidently hated that nickname. Is
Yeah.
that true, AJ, that he didn't like to be called that?
All I know is I hate it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
runs in the family.
I
then.
withdraw my grand chairman comment earlier then.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, final question. What did the Rat Pack call itself? Was it A, the Rat Pack? Was it B, the Clan? Or was it C, the Vegas Five?
C.
A, B, or C? Not C.
Well, didn't the Rat Pack precede the Rat Pack? Like, it didn't...
there was a Rat Pack that was like Judy Garland.
Yeah, and like Humphrey Bogart was in it, and Bing Crosby. It was like...
And Lauren Bacall's husband, what's his name?
Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart, yeah.
So I would say Rat Pack.
No, they call themselves the Clan or the Summit, right?
Oh, the Summit, yeah.
Summit.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the Clan. That's terrible.
It's a little, that's...
Yeah, well, it's with a C, not with a K. But,
God.
I know, but still, I don't know. Seems weird at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get all these answers off the internet, so there's no telling if it's absolutely true or not.
I just want to point out that Zach and I knew about the Summit, so, if you had said Summit, we would have gone there.
Well, that's why I didn't say the Summit. Okay. Merwin gets that one, too.
I'm telling you, he's going to win.
Yeah. I actually, adding up to the prior quiz, Zach is the winner once again, so we'll give Zach the...
Good job.
Yeah, we'll give him the notification there.
Oh, my. Well, all right, I guess that happened.
Thank you so much for all of this.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. We look forward to having you here in Toledo, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Be well. Stay warm.
All right, see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The concert is a recreation of Frank Sinatra's album Only the Lonely in tribute to Frank Sinatra. It features his granddaughter, who has been on our podcast today. That is AJ Lambert. She is appearing with the Toledo Symphony at the Peristyle, doing those amazing Nelson Riddle arrangements that we've been talking about. And that's happening Saturday evening. It's February 26th at 8 o'clock p.m. More information at toledosymphony.com or 419-246-8000. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of our program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. Remember, you can check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the TSO's streaming platform online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Elaine Trudell, and our special guest, AJ Lambert. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.